So I'm going to persuade open adoption and why I feel like it's a good idea. So what open adoption basically is it's it's a form of adoption where both biological and adoptive parents can both have access to seeing their children. Whether the adoptive parents, will let them see them all the time, not all the time, or where they can still keep in contact with them just so they're not, the biological parents aren't fully out of their life. It's also where basically the biological parents, if they aren't ready to be parents or didn't want to be parents or just never saw themselves having kids type of thing, they can still see their child grow up, um, because that's the life that they created. They can see them grow up, they can see them, how their personality's like and what they're like just, day to day. Um, I think it's a good idea for open adoption to become more of a thing just because, um, for a lot of reasons actually. It can mainly, like, if let's say parents um were very unplanned of their child that they were having, or never saw themselves as having kids, or never wanted kids at all, or never, basically aren't ready to have kids, basically not ready to have kids. They can do open adoption where they're still in contact with the child. They're not doing the parenting part, but they are still in their child's life. And they're still keeping in contact. The kids can get to know their biological parents, with, of course, the adoptive parents' permission and whatever was, decided within, how they settled that in court and everything. Um, Also, it would help a lot, with those who weren't ready to become moms to see, like, what it would have been like, if their child was actually with them and not, living in a different household. Um, it also can, basically just help them just, figure out what to do with their life, like in case, they give up one child for open adoption and then years later they want to have another one, um, and they see with open adoption how it works and, how that all gets handled, knowing the child, seeing them grow up and everything, and then they'll be able to know if they ever have a second child or so on. It also can lower the rate for abortions happening and can higher, adoption rates. So, like, basically saying if the pregnancies were definitely unplanned or they didn't want kids at all, um, it can decrease abortion rates, but still have the child, be in their life and, not go with abortion. It also gives opportunities to those little kids to basically get to know their personal history. So they get to know their culture, they get to know their background history with their parents, what it would have been like. They get to know basically, they basically get to know everything, like the mom side of the family, and then, her parents, grandparents, stuff like that. Same with the dad, just parents, grandparents. Like, they get to know the family tree of their biological parents. And they can, like, combine the adoptive parents and the biological parents' cultures and ethnicity and basically personal history, background. That way they have so much that they can, like, learn from, because they have, like, four different types of people they can actually, learn their background from and actually grow from it. If it's, a bad personal history or a good one, they can just grow and carry it with them. That way, when that child has kids, it grows with his or her kids too. Um, And there are nowadays so many unplanned pregnancies that happen. We definitely see abortion rates going up, and not a lot of people are thinking of adoption. And if they are, they consider closed adoption. But I feel like open adoption basically helps them, you know, still be with their child, still grow with them, still like, keep in contact, and just, like I said, not do the parenting part, but with unplanned pregnancies, it's better to have open adoption, just because you may regret your choice later. Like, a lot of moms may regret giving up their child. They may regret um, just not being with their child like ever in their life if they choose closed adoption. So that's why open adoption keeps you still in contact. You don't do the parenting part, but you still get to see the person you created grow up and, learn. So I feel like open adoption is a better choice, versus, closed adoption and abortion and stuff like that, especially with unplanned pregnancies, and especially with younger kids who, like younger teens. They definitely don't plan on having kids, but they do end up still getting pregnant. So it definitely can increase that for teens, and, keep in contact with the children. Um, Biological parents don't necessarily have to worry about, you know, doing the parenting part, but they still can basically do the parenting part, just not as much as the adoptive parents would be doing, because technically you gave your full, not full rights, but you gave the rights to the adoptive parents. So biological parents still kind of have that right, but not as much as adoptive parents to like parent them all the way. And it can give the unplanned children, like the unplanned pregnancies, the babies, it can give them a safer home. Like, let's say they definitely weren't planned, like it was like forced. The pregnancies were forced. They um, were mandatory. Um, it can definitely give those kids a safer home, because if the mom wasn't in a good situation and she just had the baby, but she just isn't in the right situation herself, it can give the little kids the opportunity to definitely be in a safer place, where they don't have to grow up in a bad household. They can still, be safe and, grow up with their biological mom, just not in a bad household. They can just be safe. So, and I see families struggle also having children. So that definitely gives them the opportunity to, like, have their own child, but, still be with the mom. So, like, families, there's a lot of rates going up that families, moms, struggle with infertility. So that obviously gives them the opportunity to, have a child. So open adoption is, I think, definitely the choice.